What's going on, family? Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. I got one special for y'all today, man. Around the 25th day of Vlogmas, and it's Christmas time, man. We got the tree up, open presents. Already did some time with the baby, but started a little late on this, man. So when we was on Catfish Live, I made a point that I was gonna do a quick little video today, man. We're gonna do a chicken, sausage, and shrimp gumbo. Yeah, man. So right here we got Holy Trinity. Y'all know what the Holy Trinity is, man, of cooking. It's onion, celery, and bell pepper. Got all this stuff chopped up and ready to go. Gumbo for me, man, back in the day has been always just real special comfort food. So learning how to make gumbo for myself was, especially being up here now, was a way to kind of bring a little bit of home up here in the Midwest. And now it's like a big hit, friends and family. They want that gumbo. I figured it out, man. I got that little thing. So we're only using 3 proteins. So in traditional gumbos at home, man, it's usually just like a chicken and sausage or shrimp or seafood as a whole, where you have shrimp and crab, and usually always sausage. But today we're gonna be using a chicken andouille sausage. So it's got a little heat, a lot of flavor. We're gonna brown and get some flavor off that. We got some chicken thighs that we already seasoned up real nice. We're gonna add some shrimp. I usually put lump crab meat in my gumbo, but I'm not doing that today. Why am I not doing that? Because I don't know if Jay's ready for lump crab. So, man, we got to build it around the grandbaby, man. But usually I use blue crab. If I can't use blue crab, I use lump crab. I never use snow crabs. That's just not New Orleans. You know what I mean? Like Catfish said, that draw, it ain't New Orleans, you heard me? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get started by looking at this magnet light and getting it ready. So in order to get flavor moving, we have to add some color. There's a lot of flavor and color, baby. So we're gonna start with this big magnet light. Cooking at home, man, when people did gumbo and heavy stews and dishes like that, Magna Light was the pot that everybody used. So we're gonna start by searing off some chicken. Hope y'all stick with me on through this. Hit it with a little extra virgin olive oil. And when I use my olive oil, man, I try to find things that are from one region. Like a lot of olive oils come from multiple regions. I find that when you find something that's from one location, you kind of know what you're putting in your body. This kind of helps with that. Although gumbo is a mix of so many different things and you can't control everything that go into it, this is one way that I'm able to control at least what I can control that goes into this gumbo. So we're gonna bring this up to temperature, then we're gonna sear off that chicken. Give me a second, guys. So now pot is heated up some. We're gonna go in with our chicken thighs, and I season them with Cajun seasoning. So anytime I'm putting any meat in anything, I'm gonna cook no meat if it ain't got no flavor. I'm gonna add nothing to the gumbo. We have no flavor. One of the last proteins we add to the gumbo is the shrimp, and we season the shrimp before we put it in our pot. chicken in here, simmering off real nice. Plan here, we're gonna let that go a bit until it gets some decent color. Once we get some color on both sides, we're gonna pull it off the heat. We're gonna go in with our, just adjusting here, we're gonna go in with our sausage. Following our sausage, we are going to make a roux. So, how did I start making gumbo? Well, started cooking early, learning from my mother, learning from my grandmother, watching them in there doing their thing on my mother's side. And they did their thing. Interestingly enough, the men on my mother's side, just a little background, my grandfather and grandmother on my mother's side, maternal, 4 boys, 4 girls. On my father's side, it was 5 boys and 1 girl. And interestingly enough, the men on that side of the family do a lot of cooking. Most of them, not all of them. And then, but on my mother's side, the men did and the women did. So watching my aunts, you know, Joanne, rest her soul, she cooked her butt off. My grandmother, rest her soul. My mother, she does her thing, you know what I mean? So watching them in the kitchen and learning from them, picking up little knickknacks, never having just the simple instructions, just being a witness and watching, you know, paying attention to what they were doing to figure out what I wanted to do when it was time for me to get it. Started picking up my own thing. I'm one of these people that when I'm trying to learn something, I will look at several different recipes and come up with my own. I don't follow one to the letter. I'll watch several different things, several different ones of one different thing and say, okay, I like this, I like that. Pull those pieces together and make my own. We're gonna let this go for a little while, and once we get some decent color on one side, we're gonna flip, show you guys what that look like. We'll be right back. Now guys, we are getting some decent color. The part that I like is that when it starts sticking a little bit to the bottom, we want that flavor. And caramelization. That's what we want. That's what we want. Now, please note, we're not trying to bring this chicken to like some kind of crazy doneness. Remember, it's going to be a gumbo pot, right? After we cut it up, our goal is to get color on this chicken, right? To get that flavor popping from the season that's on the outside. Once we get the flavor and that color that we want, it's all about flavor for me. Once we get that flavor and the color that we're looking for, then we're going to pull it out. We're going to let it rest and cut it up into chunks. We throw it back in the pot when we throw it back in the pot once we all add on our broth and things like that. But it doesn't have to be completely done because it's going back in the pot. That's going to be cooking for probably about another 3 hours, bubbling. So we don't have to have it completely done. We just got to get that color on the outside. That's our goal. Let's work on that color. Now the chicken's getting real close to being done. We're gonna utilize the bowl that is done already. We're gonna wash that bowl real quick. Hot water. And we pull that chicken off and let it rest, right? So wash the bowl, cover up, clean our hands, clean the bowl, put that chicken, pull that chicken off the heat. We're gonna add our smoked sausage in, let that go. Create another layer of flavor at the bottom of that pot. And then it's time for some roux. second. As y'all can see, I got the underside is getting real nice and with the crispy bits. That good stuff right there, man. And we want all that on the bottom of that pot. Look at that. So we want them brown, crispy bits. So, pull this off. And we're gonna bring the heat down a little bit because his is interesting about this smoked sausage. It does have some level of sugar in it. Because it does have sugars, it has a tendency to caramelize pretty quickly and brown pretty quickly. So we are going to keep that moving a bit. Let that water come out of that sausage. And it's going to deglaze a little bit, but then it's going to tighten up quick again, guys. It's not going to stay that way. But I go this color. Halfway up, I think we're going to go 3/4. Let that go. Be back at you guys in just a second. Yeah. Guys, as I'm mixing this food, man, I was just thinking about, you know, I have a tendency to have stuff. I have a tendency to have stuff like everywhere when I start cooking. So I find what I need and I leave it out. And plus, we have all this space on these islands and counter space, giving room for activities. But my wife thinks, man, that I'm messy cooking. I can't be not all I'm not sloppy. Just one of those cross contaminators. I don't gotta be very conscious about my food. Yeah, that sound is just wonderful happening. Color on that sausage. Again, I think that the sausage takes longer to brown. It already has a layer of stuff at the bottom of the pot. You know, you can't go too high of the sugars from the sausage. Everything gets horrible, sticky down there. Right now, it's still in a good place. That's still a good flavor. We're getting good enough color on here that we can almost pull this off. So, give me a second. We'll work this off a little bit more. We'll get that sausage off so that we can move to the next step in a second. Now that we have finished our roux, we are going to go in with some oil and flour. Now our roux. We got to make our roux. We're finished with the meat. All right, so now we're going to go in with our to make our roux. Now, one thing I do, equal parts flour and oil. So I'm using my organic flour. Doesn't have any enriched products in it. It's hot. I can't even touch it. It's hot. Now for sure, we definitely got to bring the heat down while we make our roux. So this is the start of our roux. Let me get you guys over here so you can see. All right, so this is the start of our roux. Right now it is too thin, so we need to add more oil. More flour. I'm looking for a certain consistency. It looks like we're getting there. There we go. Like it almost looks like a dough. This is a little bit too thick. Go back and forth. Now here's the cool part, man. All you got to do is work through until you find your happy spot. That's what I'm doing. So as I go through this process, we're gonna go through till we find our happy spot. Usually when I'm making my roux with gumbo, I usually don't use olive oil. I usually use like avocado oil, more neutral. But right now I think this is gonna add good flavor. So I usually start with a wooden spoon. Start with a whisk and go to wooden spoon. But here's the interesting part about now, man. This is where it gets tedious, right? So we bring the fire down lower. And the goal here now is to keep it moving, keep it from burning. We're going for color. Like we say with the chicken, the goal is color. So now we're going to be mixing this until we get like about a dark peanut butter color. Once we get a dark peanut butter color, we're where we want to be. Throwing our veggies and until they get cooked and aromatic. Then we're gonna add our liquids. Yep, we're gonna add our bay leaf and then our liquids. Bay leaf is a staple, especially in Southern cooking. Gives it that earthy flavor. Spoiled down there with that. Because up here we don't have access to it, but yeah, bay leaf trees in the yard. Just go grab a couple of bay leaves off the tree, throw it in the pot. You don't have to worry about that dried stuff. Up here, you gotta buy it. It's all good. It is what it is. It's a trade-off. To get what I want up here, I have to figure it out. It ain't as easy as in New Orleans. So we're gonna keep going with this until we get it the right color. Now I get back what you got. Getting there with the color. It's interesting is it happens, man. It happens fast. Just to let you know, like once it starts changing, really, really fast. You gotta stay on top of it. Like I understand this morning. You gotta stay on top of it. So you gotta keep cranking at it. You can't just walk away from it. And this is the color that I'm talking about. Right here. Like peanut butter. Little darker than peanut butter. That's where we are, man. That's where we are. So now I'm hit it with these veggies. Let's put that right there. And get some, we're gonna get some onion. Let's get some onion. Let's get some onion. Get get some bell pepper. Sorry guys, I'm moving around so much with you guys. We're gonna get some celery. So, start to happen, man, what's really cool is that the moisture start coming out of these veggies. And what happens is it all sticks to it to get this fluffy kind of consistency. So now we're gonna cook this to sweat these vegetables a little bit. That gets sweating the way it's supposed to, and start pulling more of that flavor off the bottom of the pot. We can move on to the next step. Give me a second. So now we're getting close to where we want to be with this process, because the next step is we're going to add some broth. So I always add seafood and little seafood and also a little bit of chicken stock. Interesting how fluffy this is going to get, guys. This thick gravy that's happening at the bottom of this as we add our stock. Now we're gonna bring the heat up and add some more liquid, thin it out some more, because it's like a big old pot of gravy right now. I like adding hot water to it as opposed to just adding some cool water to keep the cooking process flowing. I'll get some more water in this. And then get the stirring. We have some good color. Of course, we have a lot more water. And all I'm doing is making sure that we don't have any clumps from the gravy that we broke down earlier. Process gets to be, it's the long part of the process. So what we're going to end up doing is bringing this up to temperature. We're going to add some more water, and I'm using a kettle coming off the RO. So we're going to bring this up to temperature. We're going to add more water, and probably one more kettle of the water with some bouillon, better than bouillon, the beef broth. So we're gonna make our own beef broth and add that in there, and then we're gonna add the rest of our proteins back into the pot. So give me a second. So we are boiling. We added some more water. We brought it almost to the top. We don't want to go all the way to the top. We still got a lot of extra stuff to add, like this protein. So I cut the chicken up into 1-inch chunks, and I don't know if you noticed, see that juice at the bottom of that? Yeah, using all that. So we're gonna put the chicken in, and this was about 8 to 10 thighs, and I just cut them into 1-inch chunks after we seared them. Right? We are adding, we had 2 pounds of smoked sausage. It's that andouille that we cut up into chunks, and it's up to temperature. And one more thing, some shrimp. I think this is about 4 pounds of shrimp that I'm adding right now. I can't remember, but As you can see, the shrimp is seasoned, they're raw, and they go in like this. But we season them first. We don't want to put the meat in here without some flavor. Just saying, man. Shrimp, you don't have to sear first because they cook so quickly. People talk about how you can get rubbery shrimp. They don't. They cook them low and slow. They get super, super tender and full of flavor. So what we're gonna do now is just got this fire on high. We can move this stuff around a little bit. As the shrimp cook, they're gonna make some more juice in here. Got my bay leaf, as you can see, in the pot. One thing you did notice that you did not see me put in here is any extra seasoning right now. Chicken had seasoning, the pot had seasoning, the shrimp had seasoning, and you get flavor and salt from the broth that's been put in here, and I use better than bouillon here, along with some shrimp stock, seafood stock. We got some extra water boiling on the side just in case we need it, and we're gonna bring this to a boil, let it bubble for a little while, for a few hours. And we're gonna show you what that final product look like. And I'll let you know if I needed to add anything when we get to the end. Yeah, give me a second, guys. So now we got everything going. Move over to the double burner on that high heat. Goal is to allow this thing to bubble, bubble, bubble with the top on it and not overflow. We're gonna be doing that for the next 2 hours or so. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the field. Push it. Yeah. Just like that, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We got the gumbo, baby. We got gumbo. Chicken shredding a little bit, some shreds. Yeah, man. We got shrimp happening. Yeah, man. It's done. From there, serve it with a bit of rice. Eat it just like that. Remember, gumbo is not like rice and gravy. Gumbo is like a soup. So, a scoop of rice, nice bit, so you can eat it with a spoon. It is not rice and gravy. It is like a soup. One thing you also noticed, you didn't see me add any extra seasoning. All of the seasoning that you're gonna have that's required for this gumbo or needed comes from the broth, comes from the seasoned meat. You don't have to add any extra flavor from the aromatics that was added, the vegetables. That's all that's needed, man. And this right here, I already tasted it. Fire. Fire. Anyway, listen, guys, y'all know how we do, man. Hope y'all like this video. Let me know if you'd like to see more. And y'all know how we do, dog. That gumbo right there ain't average. So, guys, remember, you were designed from greatness. Because you were designed for greatness, you got the right, the responsibility, authority to never be average. So, guys, don't be average. Yeah.